Welcome or welcome back to WatchAdvisor on YouTube, where the watches are the stars. It's me speaking to you, Alexander, your host. You know me, but with me is Johan Chance.
Welcome.
From Chopard. Some of you might remember him because 2 years ago he was also helping me in presenting the new watches that Chopard presented for Watches and Wonders then. Today it's 2024 and Johan and me will present you.
Today the XPS collection, one new Lucent Steel with a special dial color, and the second one will be the new Cality Fluier.
Cality Fluier is very interesting, so you should not miss the video because Cality Fluier is something only Chopard will do in the future because the two others who were partnering in this testing procedure left the club. You will discover in the video. Cality Fluier is something really that proves that the watch is indestructible.
I will not say indestructible, but corresponding and following very technical features and the toughest hallmark. So it's very important for us to do the Cality Fluier with some movements and some models.
Good reasons to watch the video until the end.
Don't forget to subscribe and to hit the bell to get our latest notifications.
This, what you see on your screen right now, was a sensation at Chopard in the year 2005. Of course, we are in 2024 meanwhile. But the reason we are showing it to you, Johan, is because, as I learned, you are now the only company that provides watches that do feature the so-called Qualité Fleurier quality hallmark.
Yes, so it was founded in collaboration with two other brands in Fleurier, but now they left, and indeed we are the only brand still, and Mr. Scheffler wants to keep this Qualité Fleurier in our collection. So since 2005, we presented not every year, but we present different models. And we are also the only company who made the biggest quantity of movement certified by the Qualité Fleurier.
What Johan didn't say, I will mention it. So the companies who left the club are Beauvais and Parmigiani. They both are no longer interested in doing Qualité Fleurier watches. And this now is, of course, the new 2024 Qualité Fleurier watch you are presenting. So, Johan, please.
Yes, so this is the new one indeed, with a beautiful monochrome dial. It's still a sector dial, but with 2 tones of gray. This one is the first one which is not a limited edition. So it will be an open edition.
And if you look close and if you are a little bit into the history of Chopard and what they did so far, they always mentioned the Qualité Fleurier on the dial before. And in this case, it is not mentioned. So less is more. I very much appreciate this because I am not a fan of dials that provide too much information.
Yes.
Anyhow, you buy the watch, you know what you're wearing. So why should you need all this detailed information? But it is mentioned on the backside. This has been engraved on one of the main plates. And here you do see the little QF logo, and there is nothing written on the dial, so you have to know it. But if you buy the watch, you anyhow do. See here, this is it. So this is the proof. And Johan, what exactly is done, or what is a watch confronted with when the watch needs to get certified as a Qualité Fleurier?
So the Qualité Fleurier is the most difficult hallmark to get. There are several rules, but the main is that the watch has to be 100% Swiss made. After, we have a lot of technical features to follow and also aesthetical features. And just as a reminder, also the case is certified, and we have also the small logo engraved on the case back. And when we are making this certification, it's a little more than 1 month to do all the tests, plus 1 month to do the Fleury test. So it means 8 weeks to do the complete certification.
It's starting with a chronometric test, I suppose?
Yes, we need to have a chronometer certification. And if we make, for example, 50 pieces of the Qualité Fleurier, we have to make 5 pieces more. So it means 10% in order to do the destruction test. So it means that the watches will have the mouton pendule test, a shock test, and the watch has to be still accurate after this shock test. So this is just an example, but we have also the temperature, very low temperature, very high temperature. After these several tests, the watches are certified.
And what also happens is that there is a machine, let's say a robot has been built that is simulating the wearing of the watch in daily use.
Absolutely. So the whole batch will go in this machine to get tested. So it means that if we make 100 pieces, or here, not limited edition, whole pieces will pass this machine before presented to the client.
The case diameter here is
39.
39 millimeters. The thickness?
A little less than 9, it's 8.9 millimeters.
And the legendary log-to-log distance?
46.4.
46.4. So for you, if you want to imagine how the watch will sit on your wrist, and I can tell you, due to the pretty big dial aperture, and you see that there is a very thin bezel only here, you get the impression that you're wearing a big watch. The dial aperture is 34 millimeter, and this is due to the fact that the bezel is ultra thin and you really get perfect visibility on that two-tone dial. And also, once again, I just want to point out these little details. Only a few of them are still remaining, doing all this so accurate as Chopard does. Look, the length of the hand is exactly touching the minuterie. Can you see this? It is exactly there where it should be. This here on the outer side of the dial is the so-called minuterie, the place on the dial where you have the minutes indicated. And there is a golden rule in Swiss watchmaking that the length of the minute hand should always touch the minuterie. This is a given fact, as well as the fact that the length of the hour hand is, of course, touching the indexes, as you can see here. So this is how it should be done. Of course, lots of people do no longer respect such things because they think they reinvent watchmaking, but I am a big fan of those who still do it. So I think Johan now is very happy with me that I have been telling all that. And you can be proud, Johan, to work for a company who still respects all these rules.
I am.
You should. Before I surprise you with the next L.U.C XPS watch, I'm showing you a piece from the 1950s coming from the Chopard Museum. And Johan, this is quite a particular piece, I would say, because we'll then see the interpretation of today of it.
Exactly. So this is a piece showed in our private museum, and this is also where our designers are going sometimes to get inspiration from these kind of pieces. And you will see really, you will find the DNA of this watch in the novelty.
Quite a small watch, and it is about the dial.
Yes, especially around the dial, but also the shape of the case. We tried to find something close to this case, but more in a modern design, so more modern design. But we really tried to keep this kind of shape.
So voila, here it comes. This is the 2024 interpretation of what you have just seen coming out of the Museum of Chopard from the 1950s.
So this is the new XPS in Lucent Steel. The Lucent Steel is our 80% recycled steel. We presented officially last year that we are making 100% of the whole Chopard collection in Lucent Steel now. So all the pieces in steel are in Lucent Steel. And this one is the 40 millimeters edition. The thickness is only 7.2 millimeters.
Perfectly goes under the sleeves, yes.
And the famous distance lug to lug is 48 millimeters.
48 millimeters, just in case you want to imagine how the watch sits on your wrist. And a few words about Lucent Steel. Lucent Steel is much brighter than normal steel, is also harder than normal steel. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Absolutely, it's 50% harder. And as you said, looks more like white gold compared to current steel.
And me as an Austrian, I'm proud to say it comes from Böhler in Austria. Böhler Stahl, for those who talk German, we are very proud of these enterprises in Austria, and Böhler is really doing some excellent job. And by the way, Böhler, for some of you experts, is also delivering the steel to Rolex, but psh, don't tell anyone. The watch comes with a beautiful brown leather strap. And showing you the backside once again, you will see it is the same movement as we always see in this watch with the micro rotor. We have a micro rotor done in
22 karat gold.
22 karat gold. Why do you do a micro rotor? Yes, it's for saving thickness, because otherwise the rotor would start from the center, be on top of this very flat movement. And since it is part of the movement, it is integrated, you can save lots of height in terms of making a flat movement. Yeah. It's a 4 Hertz movement.
Yeah, 4 Hertz with 65 hours per reserve, thanks to our twin technology. So it means that we have 2 stacked barrels.
They are here. So there are 2 barrels located, one over the other one or under the other one, as you want to see it. And the micro rotor, as you see, is of course moving and is winding in both directions, or?
Both directions, absolutely, and COSC certified.
And COSC certified. The advantage of having a rotor that winds in both directions is of course always that you are not supposed to move too much to wind it, because the power you are injecting by moving around a little bit should be enough to wind the barrels. Nicely done. It's a new shade of gray-green or green.
We call it a forest green.
Forest green. Very nice. WatchAdvisor, world of watches are the stars, and sometimes also the calibers are the stars. And here we see the Calibre 96, and Johan, of course, it's not a coincidence that it is called 96, because it was introduced in 1996.
So it's the same year when we launched our manufacture in 1996, and we decided to call our first caliber the 96. It's a micro rotor caliber. Micro rotor is in 22 karat gold, and we have also our twin technology with 2 stacked barrels, permitting to have a 65 hours per reserve.
And also an information I want to give you is, when Chopard started in 1996 to open up its new manufacture and to start to become a real watchmaker, there was a guy called Jean-Frédéric Dufour, maybe some of you know who he is meanwhile, who was in charge of establishing this manufacture for Chopard. And you know, everybody knows now today that Jean-Frédéric Dufour is the Rolex CEO. So he started his career working with Jean-Claude Biber at Blancpain, then he worked for the family Schäufele, and then he worked as the CEO of Zenith, you know that, and then he became the Rolex CEO. So he got the best possible training going through the school of Chopard, I would say. Once again, Johan Chance, thank you very much for helping me, of course. It was always good to have an expert beside of me. It was a great pleasure that I was able to show you the Qualité Fleurier, because I very much believe in the fact that there should be more done improving quality. You can easily assemble a watch and say it is accurate. You can easily say it does this and that. But if you prove, and if you do it in the way Chopard does it with the Cality Fluier, that's something different. I think you agree.
Yes.
What would you say?
I do, Alexander, and thank you again for coming. And yes, indeed, we are very proud to make and still make this Qualité Fleurier collection. It's very important for Mr. Schäufele and the Chopard team to keep going with this label, so this hallmark. So this year, 2024, is a very specific year with this first non-limited edition in grey dial. We still have some nice features in the pipe, and yes, keep in touch and you will see.
We stay in touch. Be sure, we will stay in touch. And I very much like that you prove that quality is not only done, but also really resists all the tortures that this Cality Fluier does to the watches. Okay, thanks guys for watching another video on WatchAdvisor on YouTube, where the watches are the stars and some calibers also were the stars. Stay tuned for more to come from Watches and Wonders 2024. Bye-bye.